The instant her voice faltered, something shifted in the diner. Conversation slowed, forks paused mid-air, but the three men behind her didn't notice. They were too busy laughing, too confident in the power they thought they had already claimed. Her hands shook as the serving tray tilted, coffee splashing across the counter. Not from carelessness, but from fear. The men in worn leather jackets had boxed her in between the stools and the counter, leaning close, whispering things meant to terrify, while wearing smiles meant to humiliate. She pleaded with them to stop. Tears welled in her eyes when one of them gripped her arm harder than necessary, bursting into laughter when she tried to pull free. They were enjoying it, the fear, the control. Convinced this was just another lonely roadside diner where no one would intervene. What they didn't notice was the silence spreading across the room, and they definitely didn't notice the man sitting alone near the window. He wore plain clothes. Nothing about him stood out, until he moved. Calmly, he placed his coffee cup down, never once breaking eye contact with the men. His posture was relaxed, but deliberate. The stillness of someone trained to watch first, and act only when necessary. At his feet sat a German shepherd, silent, alert, focused. Its eyes never left the three men, and something about that gaze made the air feel heavier. The waitress didn't know it yet, but the moment her voice cracked was the moment everything changed. One of the men shoved her forward, muttering something cruel. That was when the man stood up, slowly, purposefully, as if time itself had decided to pause. When he spoke, his voice was calm, low, steady, but it carried through the diner with a weight that silenced even the jukebox. "Let her go." Now, the men turned, smirking at first. Just a guy. And a dog. Easy. Then they saw his eyes, cold, controlled, completely fearless. The German shepherd rose beside him, muscles tight, ears forward. It didn't bark, it didn't growl. It didn't need to. The warning was ancient and unmistakable. One of the men laughed nervously and stepped forward, his hand slipping into his jacket. Less than a second later, chaos erupted. The man moved with terrifying precision, disarming him instantly, slamming him onto a table as dishes shattered and screams echoed through the room. At the same time, the German shepherd surged forward, pinning another attacker to the floor without biting. Pure discipline, pure dominance. The third man tried to run. He stopped cold when the dog snapped its jaws inches from his face, eyes locked, daring him to make a single mistake. The diner fell into stunned silence. With effortless control, the man restrained the last attacker. He never raised his voice, never lost his composure. Only then did he pull out his identification, flashing it briefly. Former Navy SEAL. He turned to the waitress, still shaking but finally safe, and gently draped his jacket over her shoulders. His voice softened as he told her it was over. She was safe now. Minutes later, police arrived. The men were led away in cuffs, humiliated, defeated, exposed. The man and his German shepherd quietly returned to their booth as if nothing remarkable had happened. But everyone in that diner knew the truth. Evil had walked in believing it was untouchable. And it walked out in handcuffs, because it underestimated the silent guardians who never announce themselves, but always arrive when it matters most.